Columbia and all surrounding areas, Live Oak brings you the biggest Mother's Day event going down May 10th. We are giving away $3,000 in cash prizes to 5 winners. We have door prizes for the mothers, along with celebrity guests and the lovely songs of DJ Prime Tech, the Living the Vibes, baby. Pull up May 10th.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with King and Sharif. I'm King.
I'm Sharif.
And tonight we are taking on the controversial topic of respecting our elders, even if they're toxic.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
You want to start?
I mean, nah, I don't want to start.
I just come from
the end it, but I don't want to start it.
I just come from the school where you just always, even if they like real rude, you just take their stuff. You know what I mean? Like I done been in like current relationship and past relationships. Like the older people, the elders, my elders don't like me because I don't think you got to be like 80 years old to be an elder.
No.
Like you could be like, if I'm 45, then you know what I mean, they could be like 55 and that's my elder, right? Mm-hmm. So like respecting people that are older than me, like I just feel like that's just the way to keep good luck, good karma coming. So I kind of accept a lot of bullshit. And then when I do have to flip, I really feel bad about it. But you know what I mean, it's just like, you know what I mean, just it's an acceptance thing. Like, okay, they may not be in the right mind. You may not be talking to somebody in the right mind, or you may be just talking to somebody that's just not going to change their ways. Because my grandma, like, she was really getting on my nerves, like, her last couple years living. And I love my grandmama to death, and I've been a grandmama boy. I always been around her, like, my whole life. Never missed a Christmas around her, never missed a Thanksgiving. And she was just so judgmental. Like in her late 80s, she died at 90, but like in her late 80s, that 85 to 88, I don't know if she was just trying to teach me something, but everything was like judgmental to her. I just be like, oh man, I just don't feel like getting blasted.
Okay, but is it fair to you for you to give her a pass because that's just the way that she is? Like I don't know about that. Like,
yeah,
I was raised, I'm never going to be disrespectful to my elders. However, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to continue to be berated by one of my elders. I done laid on that lady couch too long. I laid on that lady couch to try to heal myself from generational stuff to let somebody that is my elder undo that.
Right.
I'd rather just walk away first.
Well, it's a tough situation because have I ever disrespected my elder? Yes. You know, I worked on
in response to what though? And you disrespected your elder in response to what was the situation?
Well, you know, I worked on the car lot with a lot of old men that just didn't want to go home. So I have been 30 years old around somebody that's been 60 and they have like done something like stole a deal from me or said something out the way, you know what I mean, or jumped in front of me on, like, you know how car lot stuff go. Like, a lot of people not gonna understand how car lot is like the block, like street shit, like, you know what I mean, like real street stuff. Like when the car pull up, like people is like jumping down the stairs, jumping out the bushes to get a customer, you know. So if you've been waiting out there all day and then somebody just jump out on you, you know what I mean, like you can have like Bob Pickens, who was all our mentor at the dealership, like he could be walking from one end to another end, and you're walking towards the customer, but they get to him first, and they just start talking, and then he don't say anything like, "Hey, that."
He was next,
yeah, he's next. But when he come back, we just like, man, you know, fuck you, old man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some bullshit. Like I got a family to feed too.
Do you
know?
Think that, and this
I was wrong for that though.
The car lot as an example.
I was wrong for that.
Do you think this is because they were elders, because they was a shitty person? Because I mean,
a little bit of both, and then you know it's a hustle, and you never get that hustle out of you. So you know I can respect the hustle. Like, hey, you was moving too slow, but you know what I'm saying. My whole thing is when it happened to them, they get mad. Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean. It's just like I got in a lot of arguments with a lot of old men, and I feel like my luck wasn't good. Like I might go after I get in an argument with somebody older than me, and not just him, Perry Hunter.
Perry.
Yeah, Perry Hunter. Yeah, you know. Hey, baby.
Looking good today, baby.
Rubbing your arms. Terry, like, I'm going to have a talk with him.
I go home and take a shower. I don't feel clean.
Oh, yeah, he going to grope you now. Johnny McDuffie, you know what I mean? My uncle Johnny McDuffie, like I grew up like around, like I grew up on the car lot. So, you know, I grew up with them and stuff like that. And it'd be issues with them. But I feel like after I disrespect them or say something out the way, I may go 2 or 3 days. And even if I sold a car, I just didn't make no money. So yeah, I feel like it's bad karma.
So I think, okay, so yeah. I get that. And I can understand that in a sense.
Right.
But let's bring it a little bit closer to home.
Right.
Let's talk about respecting an elder that is related to you.
Mother-in-law or like?
Mother-in-law, grandma, granddaddy, mama, daddy, older brother, aunt, uncle. I mean.
Like, I got an uncle right now I want to disrespect, but.
Do it.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I just like giving him a pass and stuff. You know
Why are you giving him a pass? Because you were brought up to
I just
let
brought
people
up
talk to you any kind of way?
Nah, he never talked to me any kind of way. He just did some stuff that I need to call him out on. But you know what I mean?
But is that disrespect or is that holding somebody accountable?
It's going to get disrespectful because he's not going to accept what I got to say. You know what I mean? Like some people you go into when you're talking to an older person, you go in with the intentions of being respectful, and then it could turn disrespectful.
Well, that's self-preservation.
Yeah. And I believe that too.
I mean, and that's my whole point. Like, I have grown on my healing process to a point where I'm not going to let anybody disrespect me. Right. I don't care who you are. Right. Luckily for me, I have a solid mama and daddy. For the most part, my aunts and my uncles, even my in-laws have been respectful towards me. But there have been times where I've had cousins and different members of my family that have been disrespectful. And I'm not going to let anybody be toxic toward me or disturb my peace because it's too important to me now. So I try to walk away. But if you continue to antagonize me, then I'm going to give you what you're looking for. And as a Taurus, okay, you
got a birthday now? Today,
my
tomorrow?
Birthday was Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Lord have mercy. I should have saved some money.
You should have saved some money. Hey, all will be forgiven for about $100 so I can get my toes done. But anyway.
Oh, Lord.
What?
I think we can make that happen.
You make that
Harry,
happen?
can we make that happen? You give up your purse for nice.
I want it from you.
I'm just messing around.
But yeah, I'm not in the position anymore to compromise my self-worth or my values to say I respected my elders. Because Lord knows my heart, and He knows that, you know, if I do disrespect somebody, it's going to be because they asked for it.
Right. It's biblical.
I believe that.
And it's also like, you know what I'm saying, it's also like in the Quran, it's in the Torah. You know what I mean? So it's difficult. Like, I'm not big on religion, but I do believe when everybody's saying the same thing that it's got to be some truth behind it. So I just believe, like, you take years off your life and, you know what I mean, you have to answer for that. Like, I mean, I think you can repent for that, you know what I mean? But I don't think it's like like you took a life or you committed suicide or something. I don't think it's like you're not going to go to hell if you're going to go to hell if you disrespect the elder. But I think it does take like points away. You know what I mean? When you get to Judgment Day and you have to answer for everything that you've done, I think like that does take a few points away. But I think, you know, you balance it out. You do more good for that person than you know, if your heart was in the right place with that person, like in-law, like you really tried, but they just don't like you. You know what I mean? If you wind up having to say something, I think maybe the Lord may take that as you were like defending yourself instead of like punishing you for like being disrespectful to an elder. So
do you think that our children are more disrespectful toward the older generation than we were?
Yeah, 100%. I've seen it. All my kids, I had to check them, all 3 of them, and my stepkid and the child I adopted. I have had to check them for disrespecting their parents, and you know what I mean, not to put my kids' business out there. I'm not going to say who, but I've had 3 of my 5 kids. Have fought their parents. Not me, but they have fought like their mother.
Like
like
hands on
physical. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Or one of them not physical, but more of like, a push. But like two of them like a knockdown drag out. You know what I'm saying? Like on the phone, hey, this is really happening live. I saw it for myself and it like really broke my heart. No, three of them. No, I take that back. All three of them had 3 out of the 5 had a physical altercation with their mother. Like that would never happen in my day.
Yeah.
That would never happen in my day. For one, you know what I'm saying? Not only would like the community check you on that, like if they heard about that, like the grandmamas, the aunties, like you wouldn't even be able to come around. They would look at you like you was just a disgrace. You know what I'm saying? Like I talked back to my mama and my mama was like, go to your auntie house. And I go to my auntie house and she said, what's going on? I talk back to my mama and my auntie would spank me or slap me or do something like, hey, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like our generation is way different than this generation.
Why do you think that is though?
Internet. I say internet. Internet.
You sound like an old man.
Yeah, the
interweb.
Yeah, the web, YouTube and even though I'm in that culture, rap music, you know what I'm saying? Like
rap music.
Just a lot of stuff people wanting to do stuff. When I say rap music, I'm just saying like a lot of rap just kind of make, like, even when I was growing up, like rap used to just make me want to go outside and do things, and my mom wouldn't want me to do it, so I was just like, damn, I can't go, such and such mama, you know what I mean? She letting them wear this and do that, and then, then there's some kind of conflict and stuff like that. So, but now with me and my mama, we used to have like dialogue. She may have looked at it as talking back, but I looked at it as like, hey, see my side. You know what I'm saying? But now it gets real disrespectful. Like it's not even dialogue no more. It's more like, I'm going to do it and ain't nothing you can do about it, because what you going to do? You can't put me out. You can't spank me.
Well, that's true. That's true. But then also recognize that our parents and our age range didn't want to do no dialogue. It was, this is what I'm telling you, and I don't want to hear nothing.
And we should go back.
Don't say nothing.
And we should go back to that.
You ain't old enough to say nothing.
And we should go back to that, but the new kids don't accept that. And I tell you another thing that's messed up about the new kids with the elders is the cell phone. The cell phone, the internet, and the cell phone are two major things. And the other thing I think is that they just have more to do, and they're growing up a lot faster because the world is moving a lot faster than when it moved when we were growing up. Like it's just too much going on. Like, you know what I mean? I look at it now like we in the entertainment world, like everybody got an event every day. You know what I mean? So if you're just sitting there and you got an event every day, like your life is moving faster. So, you know what I mean?
That's for sure.
So, and the older parent like myself, it's hard for us to keep up with all of that. Like I couldn't understand my daughter's changes, but I was a lot more lenient on my daughter, but my daughters have talked to me like a dog before. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? Like we've had our moments and stuff like that.
What precipitated that though? I'm not taking up.
I'm not an easy parent though. I'm a strict parent on my girls, a little bit more lenient on my boys.
Why? Why the double standard? I need to understand that.
Why the double standard? I don't know. Well, I got one son that's special needs, so I'm not gonna count him in it. But my other son, I was a lot lenient than the girls.
Tell me why.
I don't know. It seems like the girls got a lot more to look out for than the guys do. So I'm just trying to catch them up on game, and they don't want to be put on it. You know what I mean? So with my boy, I could tell him something, and for the most part, you know what I mean. Even if he don't agree, he gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I can keep him on a straight path more than I can keep the girls. So I just have to put a little extra on the girls, and because they got men in their face. So if a man talking to them on the phone for, you know what I'm saying, 2 hours, 3 hours every day, I need to be talking to him for 2 hours or 3 hours every day. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. Like, you know what I mean?
Man, let them girls live.
Yeah, they be on some bullshit. I did let them live.
I
did let them live. I'm not gonna disrespect them because I love my grandbabies, but ask them how that turned out when I let them live. Shit, I shouldn't have let them live. I should have brought them. I should have talked to them 3-4 hours. I should have cursed their ass out. I should have did a lot of shit. But you know what I mean? I backed up off of them. I was on them, and they said I was too hard. They said I was a boy's dad and all that kind of stuff. So you know what I mean? I did when I let them go. I let them go, and when I let them go,
They were but wow.
I wouldn't say but wild because all of them had boyfriends, but man, all their boyfriends weren't shit. And I tried to tell them that. I was like, well, this man is out to do this man is out to do that. Because all of them had 3 different types of boyfriend. One of them had the drug dealer, one of them had the thug nigga, one of them had just the popular dude in school, you know what I'm saying? The senior, you know what I mean? And they're sophomore, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So like, you know, they all had 3 different types of boyfriends, but I've been all 3 of those type of men. I've been in high school selling weed. I've been in popular, and I've been, you know what I'm saying, out, you know, outside, you know, man, like, well, I ain't got no, you know, my years in high school, I stayed with my dad, so I've been, you could always come to my house and hang out. Like, we ain't have no curfew, none of that. You know what I'm saying? When I was with my mama, I was on a strict plan, you know what I mean? When I was with my dad, he didn't give a fuck. So, you know what I mean? So it's like that. I just wanted to, you know.
We're getting off the subject, but so what do you, in retrospect, looking back on how you grew up, your mom versus your dad, which was better for you? Your mom, living with your mom,
both of them was equally great. You know what I mean?
That's a great answer.
Yeah, both of them was equally great because my mom put the education in my life, and my dad kicked the street stuff to me. So you know what I mean? I think you need both of them. I think if you grow up in a 2-parent household, and they're both together, they're both educated, they're both giving you the world, I think when you get out in the world, things could be different and stuff like that. It definitely
puts you at a disadvantage because I was sheltered for a long time. Hell, I'm still sheltered if we're going to keep it stacked. I mean, I have no street smart. Well, okay, I got a little bit, but
I mean, you can gain it over time, but it's something different like getting off the porch late and catching it at 15, 16, like, but believe it or not, you know, I know we off the subject, but believe it or not, at 15 or 16 years old, you know what I'm saying, I had friends that got off the porch at 12, 13, 14, and I had been yearning for that. So I wasn't disrespecting my mother like in her face, but I was disrespecting what she was about because she was an educator. People looked up to her. And then when kids come to her office and she says, well, we need to get a game plan for you to get your life back on track. And they say, well, I just saw your son smoking reefer the other day. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? I used to always put my mom like in a messed up position. And even though I would never talk back, like I talk back, but I never got super disrespectful, like where we were in each other's face ready to fight or nothing like some of my kids, you know what I mean? Like, you know, or I never cursed at her or anything like that. But you know what I'm saying? I was disrespectful, but didn't reach that goal. But, you know, I embarrassed her on other levels, you know what I'm saying? Professionally, I embarrassed the shit out of my mama. And like, that's a form of disrespect until you're elder, too. It's not adding up to what they want you to be, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely a form of disrespect.
But then also, as a parent, you have to manage your expectations of your child because I know as parents, we do the best that we can for our kids. We raise them the best way that we can. But you do not know what your child is going to do once they leave your household. You know how they act. I just was always of the opinion when I got a call from the school, I was never one of those parents, especially with Cameron, with your girl. Your girl was off the chain. But anyway, I was never one of those ones that, I'm on my way down to the school. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And I know my child because, no, I don't know. I need to hear all the evidence before I make a decision because you don't know what them kids doing once they leave your household.
Right. Did you have like children that disrespected you? Because you're like in the middle. Like, you're not like your kid's younger than me.
So, Taryn would never. She would never. Nicholas would never. But that middle girl.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when.
And she don't even look like it.
Who?
Your middle girl. That played basketball, right?
Yeah, you talking about Cameron?
Yeah.
So, when Cameron had that growth spurt, she was at Summit Middle. And we were still living over in Northeast in Carriage Oaks. And this was after me and her dad split. And she had this thing about, I guess her way of acting out was to go to the nurse's office every day. They would call me every day. It literally was like clockwork. They would call me every day. She goes to the office. I don't feel good. And so I told her, I said, if you go to the nurse one more time, I'm going to beat your ass. I just kept it, I was like, I'm beat your ass. I'm tired of coming home and having to, I'm tired of it.
Right.
So she did it again, just like clockwork. And so I told her to go, I said, go up. I said, take your ass upstairs. I'm calling your dad. He's coming from the car lot and he's going to deal with you. And she got really upset with me. And so we were at the top of the stairs and she kind of bucked up at me a little bit. I didn't mean to push her halfway down the stairs. I didn't mean to push her halfway down the stairs, but it happened because she was taller than I was at that point. Like she was probably hovering about 5'9", which is a couple inches taller than me. So I guess she felt like because she was taller than me.
In the 8th grade.
Yeah. Yeah. Now she's 6'1" now.
Yeah, I'm about to say in the 8th grade, that's tall.
Yeah. So, but I'm your mama, girl. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? But I told you that if you went to the office again and you pretended like you was sick and they had to call me, I told you what was going to happen. I said, but you know what? I'm not going to beat your ass. Your daddy is. And Terry never beat the kids. He's never laid a hand on them. Cameron was the first child that he beat, and after he beat her, he came downstairs and he was looking at me like,
yeah, he didn't want to do it.
What I do now? I was like, what do you mean? What do you do now? He's like, I'm gonna go back upstairs and hug her. Boy, what?
Nah, you gotta.
She's not gonna learn no lesson.
You gotta stay strong. I ain't talked to my kids for like a month.
Yeah.
Like me and my son, like we had a knockdown drag. Well, we didn't really have a knockdown drag out. It just didn't. We just wasn't speaking. And he popped up on me the other day, and I was just like, man, I'm glad to see you. He wanted to tell his story, and I was just like, man, it's water under the bridge. Right. But did I feel disrespected by his actions? Yeah, I did. But you know what I mean? If I was that age, would I have done that with him? Hey, you know what I mean? I'm just glad he came around, because when he's 20, and when I was 19, I stopped talking to my father. I didn't never see my father again. He died like 15 years later. Wow. Never talked to him again. He was in Georgia. I came back to South Carolina. We never talked.
Right.
So I didn't want that to be me and my son. So, you know what I mean? I'm glad he was I was going to eventually come around. Yesterday was his birthday. I was going to actually go find him yesterday, but, he popped up on me the day before yesterday. And so, that was good. But, kids different. You know what I mean? They handle stuff different. Like, I handled it the same way he handled it back then, but it was a whole total different situation, because my father disrespected my mother. So, you know what I mean? And, I wasn't having that. And just, get back to South Carolina and just go through years of just growing, and I just never reached back for him. I knew my brothers and sisters and stuff, but I just never reached back for him. But when he died, I felt so bad. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I went through a depression. And I've never been like, everybody gets depressed. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people say, oh, they're depressed. Everybody goes through depression.
Everybody's got something.
Yeah, especially being black in America, it help but being depressed. I mean, even white in America is depressing, but
right now,
but being black in America is triple depressing. So you know what I mean. So we're gonna go through depression. So, but you know what I mean. I went through a real bad bout, like real close to like really needing to talk to somebody, because you know what I mean. He died without. I really felt like, going back to what we was talking about, I really felt like I disrespected him. Even though what he said was really disrespectful, which would make somebody kind of move away from a person. But once you get older, I was 18, 19 years old. Once you get older, you should be like, okay, that's my father. Like, let me reach back. And I never got that feeling like I needed to reach back to him. And the man died. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The man died, and I found out about it a month after he died. Wow. They was trying to find me and couldn't. And the only number they had was my grandmother, and my grandmother was like, "Oh, he's dead. Leave my grandson alone, quick." Like my grandma was like that. Like she did not want that side that side of my family, because she just always felt like they was corrupt. You know what I mean? Or they was getting me to do stuff because they were street. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, not street like it's like hanging out in the street, but they was like hustlers, and You know what I mean? My dad's side of the family, we did our thing, you know what I'm saying, including me. Yeah.
So with that being said, at the end of the day, you have to make a decision, because I think you and I are kind of on the same page, but to a certain extent, you have to make sure that you live life with no regrets, and that you, because nothing's promised to anyone, and nothing's promised to anyone that we love, right?
Right.
So
it's just that what I'm trying to break down is just like, it's different forms of disrespect, but I think anytime, like, even if not speaking to an elder is a form of disrespect to an elder, you know what I mean? Like, you're just so mad that you're just moving away from them. You're not going to deal with the situation and stuff like that. My granddaddy passed a week ago. We haven't talked in a year. You know what I'm saying? Because of a legal situation. But you know what I mean? It's like, when he died, I was tore up about it because I just felt like I should have went and saw him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and I knew, I knew eventually that was going to happen. But you know what I mean? I was like, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of forms of disrespect to your elders. I think at the end of the day, you know what I mean, you're not going to go to hell for disrespecting your elders. I think the people that like really go to hell is like the people that's in the nursing home, like pinching these people and slapping these people and, you know what I mean, doing evil stuff to these people because they old and don't understand. But like, if your heart is in the good place and just the elder is just not doing what, you know, you need them to do or acting appropriate or whatever, I think God will forgive it. You know what I mean? I just don't personally, you know what I mean? I just kind of move away.
I'm going to move away too. And if you disrespect me more than once, that I'm going to tell you you disrespected me and you're not going to disturb my peace, and I'm going to holler at you.
I'm going to holler at you.
Respectfully.
She going to get your old ass in the back and give you a 2-piece.
I mean, I'm a lover, not a fighter. And with that ends this episode of King and Sharif. I am King.
I am Sharif.
And we out.
Yeah.